This podcast is brought to you by the Podtower, hosted by the Watchtower database. Visit youtube.com/thepodtower for informative, hilarious DC animation-themed podcasts and live streams every week. And check out the Watchtower database for DCAU video essays, timelines, fan theories, and more. And please, enjoy the show. I just spent the last hour doing a podcast with Alex for the BTAS podcast, and now I'm doing this.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
He did the little game where you play the he plays a music clip from an episode, and you have to guess what the episode is. And
holy fuck, I've been playing along with the Instagram.
The title card thing.
Title card.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm like, oh, I kind of remember that episode. I think that's this. I have not gotten a single title, but there's also ones that I'm like, that's not a BTAS title.
That never happened.
Never happened.
You've seen these once for 10 seconds, and I think some of them were easier for me than others too. Like there was Paging the Crime Doctor was a creepy doctor man, and I'm like, oh, that's that one. But one of them was just I don't know, Joker smiling, and I'm like, that could be 6 episodes, man.
Yeah, that one, I know exactly the one you're talking about. I didn't get that one either. I'm like, I should get this.
Yeah. Clap me.
3,
Give me the clap.
2, 1. You're pregnant.
I'm pregnant now. Making Batman content with my friends is all that I ever do, and it's fine.
And now you're pregnant.
And now I'm pregnant. As you said. Yep. Before we got the clap.
Yeah.
This is disrespectful to people with the clap, and I'm sorry. What is that? What's that the slang for? Which one is it? Gonorrhea?
Gonorrhea, I think.
Okay. I knew that too quickly. Welcome back to Jump on the Bat-Wagon. This is episode 109.
This is about the DC animated universe, obviously.
This is the DCAU STD podcast. I'm James from the Watchtower database. I'm here to show my good buddy Brian the entire DC animated universe from start to finish in the controversial Airdate order for his very first time. So that he may view these shows the way human beings experience them in the far gone days of the 1900s.
Ugh.
At the time of this recording, Superman, the animated series. Oh, thank you. How do I not know you're going to do that by this point? I just steamroll on along, and then Brian, what is Brian saying? Why is he interrupting me? I never interrupt him.
Yeah, right?
It's streaming on Max.
And I'm Brian.
Your dog. And available on DVD and Blu-ray. That was the worst possible time you could have said that.
Yeah.
Cool. And if you'd like to follow along, you can head over to bit.ly/watchdcau. The link is in the show notes. Today we're watching the Superman the Animated Series episode Solar Power. Your prediction last time was that Superman goes to a dark place and loses his strength.
Because I'm getting good at this.
And I said that was pretty close, yeah.
I'm getting good. You better watch out.
You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. I know what's going to happen to Superman next episode.
I got a thing not to pout and cry about. Do we want to talk about this?
Oh, that we have a location? Yeah, let me get through this thing real quick.
Okay.
This first aired, Solar Power, first aired Friday, September 26th, 1997.
Are you done?
Yeah. Oh, almost. Hang on. At 4:30 p.m. on the WB. I'll give you a little signal or something.
Okay. Give me a little signal.
Yeah. Undetermined what the signal is, but you'll know. Yeah. You'll know when you see it. Okay. This aired 4 days after last episode, Double Dose. This is the 24th episode to air. You move your eyes a little bit?
Was that the signal?
No, not yet.
No, okay.
The 24th episode to air and the 24th episode produced.
You didn't move your hair. Was that the signal?
No.
Your hair stayed still?
I don't think I can. I don't have prehensile hair.
What?
Like some people. I can't just move my hair.
What the fuck, man?
This was written by Robert Goodman, who previously wrote Feeding Time.
That was a sign. So
Say
no?
Goodman? Yes. Go ahead. You're right. When I say Robert Goodman, that was the signal. I was going to do the fucking, if you would have given me time, I was going to do the Team America Whoa, signal.
I need to watch that
kiss
movie
me,
again.
kiss me.
Kiss me. He's taunting us.
Anyway, yeah, tell people.
No,
I'll get
please
back
continue.
to the details.
I want to know about the details.
Okay, we're just teasing
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
All right. This is written by Robert Goodman, who previously wrote Feeding Time, Buftpa, which is Blast from the Past, because I'm tired of saying that whole thing too now. I'm going to abbreviate these as much as I can.
Just abbreviate them.
And Identity Crisis.
Chris.
This is directed by Kazuhide Tomonaga, who previously directed Fun and Games and A Little Piece of Home. That one's too long. Alpo. Wait, we already had that, like Alpo, Halpi, whatever. This is his final DCAU directing credit, and I've put in parentheses, or at least I'm pretty damn sure, because of Harvey Cohen. Music is by Christopher Carter, previously composed Lockup, Catwalk, Fun and Games, Little Piece of Home, Tools of the Trade, Buffed Part 1, and Identity Crisis. And animation is by TMS. Huh? What about Catwalk? That was on one of the title cards.
That was one of the title cards I didn't get.
That's the one I did get, because I was like, yes, the low-res JPEG title card.
I was like, Cat in the Claw Part 3. No.
Part 3,
Shit.
no. Solar Power Animation TMS. Previously animated 7 episodes of BTAS and the Sega CD cutscenes, as well as Fun and Games, Little Piece of Home, Way of All Flesh, My Girl, Two's a Crowd, Promethean, Speed Demons, Action Figures, and Double Dose.
Yes.
Brian, would you like to... People can't see it at all.
What is he doing?
Why is he flailing around like
Listener,
that?
he's got his arms in the air and he's waving around like he
I'm
just
doing
don't
Kermit
care.
the Frog. Yay!
Yeah, it's kind of that. He's kind of being Kermit the Frog, but I don't know what that means.
Well, coincidentally, would you like to also tell people about a thing that's going on that's happened? Yeah.
I would like to tell people about a thing. You know how we've been...
I'm sorry. That's all the time we I really want the Oscars or whatever to just like wrap it up, and then just start playing that.
You know what? If they did, people would stop talking.
Yeah. Oh my God. This is so overpowering. It's not nice at all. Yeah.
Just like 20 or 30 dB louder than they think it should be. And just like people are going to stop talking. It's going to be great. Anyway, I'm watching your trigger finger over there. I don't want to be interrupted, you see.
No, I can't reach him.
So March 9th, we've been talking about the live podcast in Eugene, Oregon for some reason. Don't do it, Jamie.
What? No, I'm not going to. I promise there will be no more of that during you talking about this. But there's like 6 other buttons. Anyway.
So March 9th, we're doing that live podcast. Eugene, Oregon. We want you to be there.
Yeah.
So much
There's a Google
so,
form in the description of this. If you want to go, please tell us so that we know if you're going to be there.
Yes.
If you don't fill that out and you come there anyway, we're going to be mad. We're going to be so mad at you. We're
not going to have a cookie for you at all.
No. We're going to make delicious little Eternal Youth green cookies, and I do want to do that. But
do you?
Anyway. Yeah, but I don't know how many to make, you see, because I don't know how many people are coming.
Oh, you got to let Jamie know.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have finally solidified a location, which is very near and dear to me. It's actually not that near. It's clear across town.
It's nearer to you than me.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. We're going to be holding the podcast, interestingly enough, because we're artistic people, at the Maude Kerns Art Center.
You want to spell that?
MAUD. ARTCENTRE.
Oh.
What?
Theatra?
Yeah, it's not actually
one of those. No.
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
We can just put information in the description here.
Yes.
But Maude Kerns Art Center, it's kind of like on campus on the west side of Eugene.
Some people have referred to it as the flesh tent. So if you want to ask people where that's at, they'll know where to go.
It's roughly flesh colored. It's like Simpsons-ish. You know, it's a yellow.
If they have any art in there, that they're gonna move all the art out of the way for us. And if they haven't, like the stand stuff on obelisks, if they move
Plinths?
that and there's, I don't know.
Yes,
you said we're art people, and then here I go not knowing what the fucking obelisk. Yeah, anyway, if there's anything flesh related, they should leave it there. Is all I was trying to say.
That would be weird, but yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing it from, I believe, we'll give you the final time soon. Obviously,
it's the evening.
We're thinking like 5 to 8 p.m., something like that. So come and hang out with us. we've decided to not like bother. This is how we roll. We're not gonna bother with the whole like hard and fast tickets thing. If you want a ticket, like I'll like print something up that looks like a ticket for you. But this is just a show up, come hang out. We'll have like a little donation bucket thing and maybe like a QR code if you want to help cover the cost of the venue.
A donation area for if you would like to support the event and the podcast and that stuff. But otherwise, it's not technically.
Yeah, we don't want
you have to do.
We don't want to be turning people away, especially like when people are like flying and getting hotels and that
like
sort of
Superman.
stuff. Flying
Some people
here
are
like
flying.
Superman. Yeah. So don't you worry about that. You just get yourself to Big Bus and come hang out with us on March 9th. And
I've heard some people are taking a big bus to Big Bus.
I know.
Which is a lovely thing. If you take a big bus, tell us how much your bus ticket was, and we'll go, oh, wow, man. We want to make this as accessible as possible this first time, and then if this is a success, and if we had a fun time doing it, and a bunch of people showed up, and it was a good thing, then it's more likely that we'll do more like this in the future, because I can think of several more times that this would be an applicable thing to do and would be a lot of fun.
And we're going to go on tour.
Yeah. We're touring Big Bus, and that's it. We're at the live at the Flesh Tent. What is it called?
The Maude Kerns Art Center.
Maude Kerns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Maude, like her name is Maude, and she's from
she's
the frontier
an old Maude, you
times.
say? Yeah. And Kern, like the band that goes, hey, rook-a-doo, wappa-ima. What's as high as an elephant's eye? Kern. That's not really how the accent would work. But anyway, the WF episode that I'm going to try not to tell Brian what that stands for until we're literally sitting there about to watch it. And he still hasn't guessed what it stands for. And even if he did, I probably wouldn't tell him that he got it right. But he hasn't gotten it right yet. So.
Water Follies.
Nope. If you want to come to that, please do leave the spreadsheet thing below. Do the spreadsheet thing so we can see you're coming. Okay.
We need to know how many chairs to set up, you know?
That's pretty much it. Yeah. We're going to watch it. We're going to do a podcast. It'll be fun. You can ask us questions. You can meet us. We can sign you tits or something. Anyway, buy us a coffee. Head over to the link in the description to send us a Yoppie beverage and support the show. We'll give you a shout out in an upcoming episode. I'm leaving that in, Brian. You're looking at me like, what a weirdo. We'll also do a push up for every $1. So give us coffee for our health and your entertainment.
Yeah.
But, this time, there's nobody that bought us a coffee.
Oh,
and
shoot.
It's really sad. And where is the sad trombone noise? Hang on a sec. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be so worth it.
That's good, because all I'm drinking is bread.
I'm drinking coffee.
Nice.
We're very unhealthy today.
Oh, man. What we should
It's
do
not
is
very healthy in here.
we should do that live for the live show and just be like, okay, how much we got? And then people there.
The donations at the door. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think we could do that. No. One push up for every person that shows up. I think we can do that. I think that's doable.
Okay.
You want to go watch the episode and we'll come back and talk about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's
I
do
really
that.
do. Let's fucking go, man.
Let's do.
This force field is filtering our sunlight so that only the red wavelengths get through.
Come on, Lex. Those are your satellites up there, and Leitner's worked for you before. How do you expect me to believe you have nothing to do with it?
What you believe makes little difference to me. The fact is, I did provide Leitner resources while behind bars, but only for legitimate LexCorp research. I had no idea he'd escape, and I certainly didn't tell him to hijack my satellites for his own revenge.
Heck, why not? You'd love to see Superman dead.
Oh, please, Lois, forget that I'm losing millions in communications revenues. Do you really think I'd jeopardize the welfare of the planet just to settle my personal grudge with Superman?
Do you remember the end of The Underdwellers where that little kid comes out of the sewer and he's just like, the light, the light.
He's like, God bless us, everyone.
I just wondered about that.
Sing up, if you're wondering. Sing up, what you just watched. Sing up, take a listen to the synopsis. the shortened summary, which is sometimes kind of long.
If you could pretty please tell me, Brian, what happens in Target Part 2, a.k.a. Solar Power? Target Part 2, which took you 10 minutes into the episode to realize that this was the same guy from that episode or something.
Oh, right. I didn't remember the name of that episode.
First you said guy as he's walking around.
Yeah.
And then he said, don't come over here, Lightner. And you're like, oh, I know that name. And I'm like, cool, he's got it. And then a while later you were like, so what did he do earlier? Understandable, very forgettable episode. But anyway.
Okay, well, Lightner, a.k.a. what did he have? He didn't have a bad guy name.
Luminous, he called himself.
He said this time once?
Yes.
And everyone's just like, nah.
Nah, you're wrong. Yeah. You don't get to have one of those. You're not good enough. You're not important enough.
They're like, they all look at each other and it's like, nah.
I don't think so.
Light is already in your last name. We're just going to leave it at that. Can you even spell luminous? Is it with an S or a C?
He does spell it Luminus. Yeah, Mulinus. Yeah.
Well, Mulinus basically is like, he's got some stuff in jail and he says, hey, jail guys, guess what? And he goes invisible and they go, oh no. And he steals a helicopter. The end.
Yep. That is the end of scene 1. If you want to keep going from there, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I give you permission to continue.
And then we jump around a little bit. Clark and Superman are getting pretty weak. And Lightner's like, hey,
he can't
guess
even
what?
lift his desk up at work with one hand anymore like he always does.
To bend over and get a pencil. Oh, that was kind of dumb. I get it. I get why they did it. And I don't, it's just really, it's very silly.
Yeah.
So the clouds part a little bit while Superman's outside having a stroll. And wouldn't you know it, the sky's red. Oh, no. Turns out Lightner's made a camera filter for the sky out of a bunch of satellites, and now Superman who gets his power from Earth's yellow sun can't get his powers from Earth's yellow sun anymore.
Yeah,
and he's just like, Lightner's like setting up traps and stuff, and
he's
Superman's
just becoming man again.
He's just becoming man. No more super
man wearing baby blanket.
Yeah, yep.
That gets cut during this episode, but anyway,
it does. I'm sure it'll be healed by next episode, though. It's fine.
Probably.
They mosey on. Lightner's setting up traps. Man is getting weaker and weaker, and he almost bites it the final time, but then by Lightner shooting a laser at Superman, who happens to have a parabolic dish, arcs it back and blows up the computer.
With the vocab words, the names for things no one else but you knows.
Thank you. Yeah, he basically melts the computer with the laser beam that Lightner is shooting, and then the sky goes blue again, and the sun goes yellow again, and Superman says, "Ha ha! I'm strong, and I'm gonna break your hand." But then he doesn't, and they arrest.
Kind of does.
Luminosity Man
bruises his hand or something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Could have used some vegetables snapping to when Superman's grabbing his hand.
I could have used him ripping this man's hand off. But
yeah, why not? Why not? He's ruining the world. Yeah.
Is that it? That happens?
Yeah.
He goes to jail. The end.
He goes to jail. The end.
Yeah.
Superman flies into the sun. His wax wings melt, and the end.
Superman flies into the sun with his legs spread apart farther than usual, and we get to see his super taint as he goes into the sun.
Super taint.
The official synopsis from Warner Brothers: Edward Lightner returns as "quote unquote" luminous. See, even they are like, yeah, I don't think so. Luminous. Yeah, right. Okay. A light technology-based villain who turns the sun red in order to drain Superman of his powers. So Superman didn't go to a dark place and lose his strength, but you were on the right page.
But the place went dark and he lost his strength.
The place went different. Yeah. Anti-sun. Yeah. I think I liked this better than the previous Edward Lightner episode. I think both because of a lot of cool animation stuff, and he just had more interesting things to do. And you also, I think, liked the Robert Goodman writing quite a bit, at least in the first half of the episode. That Lex Luthor scene in particular was pretty good.
Oh, there was just such good metaphor. And
I don't remember the first thing he said where you said, like, oh, metaphor. But the bullseye thing, of course.
I mean, it was leading up to it, right? So like you see the arrows sort of like far out in the target, and then Lois is like kind of getting there, and his arrow gets closer to the bullseye, and then like Lex has his like pistol resistance.
I wouldn't put the
bullseyes.
entire world at risk just because I'm mad at Superman, and then he hits the bullseye and smiles. Yeah. What do you think of me, Lex Luthor?
Yeah, like I think the last Leitner episode we had, there were a lot of laughs of like, why is this big green glass sword hanging over the
why is an elevator
podium
shooting out of the roof of the damn
like
planet?
There's so much insanity, and this was just like, oh yeah, this is good, okay, cool. But now I don't feel as laughy about it. Like, where's the ridiculous shit?
I was almost worried because I definitely remembered not thinking this was like a stupid episode by comparison, at least. And I was a little bit worried that I remembered wrong at the start because a big laser's coming out of the sky destroying Lois Lane's monorail. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh man, he's just doing Lois shit again? Like, this is the same thing. Why are we doing this again? It's the same thing. And then he immediately says, like, don't worry, this time it's not the same thing, viewer of the episode. Mm-hmm. It'll be fine. Mm-hmm. And I think I had actually seen this episode a handful of times as a kid, but never the previous like introduction of his character. And I don't think it really matters. I don't think you need that episode to watch this one.
No, not at all.
He doesn't even have the same gimmick really. Like he was like Saw Trap guy in that one, and this one he's like, it's all lasers and holograms and light, luminous.
You barely know. Like the only thing you'd be missing is the fact that he's an inventor in the first one. In this one, you're like, oh, like Lex was like sending him parts or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like maybe even I mean, I don't know this for sure. This is not insider knowledge or whatever, but I feel like it feels like either they wanted to do a luminous episode, which is not, this is a character they made up for this show. And they knew they wanted to make him a big deal or something, but they had to make him a small deal first or something like that. Or they made the first episode and went like, I think there's more we can do with him, and I don't like that episode or how it turned out or whatever. So let's just completely change like what he's about. Mm-hmm. I guess like he can do science things is like the crossover of information. Yeah,
it's kind of weird to have him start off like, oh, he's just in like the jail yard, and he's got the belt pack. And
I thought at first, like, I mean, I knew where it was going, but his thing is like, I'm the Invisible Man now. Like, I guess he's going to be an invisible guy. Like, that's his shtick. But he's doing all sorts of things. Yeah.
He's science.
He's Science Man.
Yeah.
I call myself Science Man. And they're like, no, you're Edward Leitner, actually. They must have known they were going to do light things with him if that's his name. But I guess, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, this was like, how do we expand upon that? Are lasers light?
Well, but even in Target, he has that like shrinking laser cage that Lois Lane is in at the end. And then in this one, when they walk into his invisible house and the lasers come on, you're like, you did this already. But come up with something new. Yeah,
it didn't shrink. It was just kind of there.
But yeah, I don't know. It was pretty decent. It wasn't like a blow my mind episode, but it had a lot of really cool, like, I'm hesitating to talk about them until we get to Keen Effects, but
yeah,
even a couple things that you like out loud said, like, how did they do that or whatever? Like, that's really impressive kind of a thing. Yeah.
Well, let's get on with it then, and we can get to talking about
I guess
that.
So. I could just break into the cast. It's everybody's returning except the final person. We have Tim Daly as Superman / Clark Kent. Lifting a table. Dana Delaney as Lois Lane. Clancy Brown as Lex Luthor. David Kaufman as Jimmy Olsen. Victor Brandt as Professor Hamilton, who was in half a scene, going, hey, why don't you go to space? Oh, don't follow the thing, actually.
Superman, you're falling directly into his traps. Yeah, so it would seem.
Yeah.
Okay.
He says, like, he's just leading you into a thing, and he's like, and doing a good job, and flies away. Yes, why? How does that change what I said?
So maybe Superman, maybe stop.
Maybe don't do that. Yeah. Robert Hayes from Airplane as Edward Leitner / Luminous. And then last we have Castulo Guerra as NASA spokesperson, who
NASA?
I guess, was that someone on the news explaining the lasers, the satellite thing? I guess I don't know.
I guess so. That's kind of I feel like somebody must have taken some liberty there because I'm pretty sure the DCAU people wouldn't be like, yes, this is NASA.
He was just guy in suit. Like he didn't. I don't think we like. We have NASA guy here to tell us about the thing. They were just talking about it already. Anyway, this guy played Enrique Salceda in Terminator 2, who was a friend of Sarah Connor, who had a bunch of guns. He's General Suarez in the Deathstroke Knights and Dragons miniseries. Mr. Cortez in Beverly Hills Chihuahua 2. Senor Fuente in Scooby-Doo and the Monster of Mexico. Guillermo in Lawnmower Man 2 Beyond Cyberspace. Ruiz in the Starman 80s TV series that also starred Robert Hayes, who was Luminous. And he's had bit parts in King of the Hill, Diablo 2, The Purge 2, CSI, Prison Break, Duck Dodgers, Alias, ER, StarCraft, The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, Lois and Clark, Star Trek The Next Generation, and The A-Team.
I'm sorry, I'm not listening to you. I'm currently reading about Beverly Hills Chihuahua 2.
Have you seen Beverly Hills Chihuahua 1?
There's a 3!
Oh.
Beverly Hills Chihuahua 3,
one?
Viva la Vista. No, of course I didn't. What?
My sister really liked that movie as a kid.
Really?
First one.
I gotta watch
the first one.
all 3 of these.
They're bad. They're not good movies.
But
don't do it.
But
it's dog movie.
Chihuahuas.
I think one of them has like Paris Hilton in it or something. I can't remember.
Oh no.
Anyway, I've got very basic small trivs for you.
Okay.
Because this episode didn't have a lot of stuff, a lot of substance. When Lois and Jimmy discover the invisible building by seeing a bird perched in midair, Brian talked over the top of Lois saying, "Look, up in the sky," to which Jimmy replies, "It's a bird."
Oh my God, I did talk over that.
You sure did. You were just like so determined that the building was about to turn visible, like you guessed it, there was an invisible building there. You're like, okay, so it turns visible in 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's a bird. And you like, that was over the top of that entire thing.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. There's no way to tell you, hey, stop. There's an important thing. It's very important that you hear this reference to the 40s Superman radio show.
I'll just not talk anymore.
Okay,
it'll be great.
Cool. That one is like it's built in, it's baked into the dialogue as like a cheeky thing. But there are times that we'll experience, if we haven't already, of like a look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman. And
Sweet.
You have to wonder like, so does that mean the radio show exists within the DCAU? Why do people know to say this? Why are they making references, or whatever? We'll talk about it later, I guess. What are you thinking about? Huh?
Oh, I'm just thinking about like what
was that the signal?
In what like in what like state of being, like could we ever be like sitting down like lunch outside or something, and I'll be like, "Oh, Jamie, look, it's a bird." You can just be like, "No, it's a plane."
No, I don't think so. Yeah. I think that thing that flies completely differently from a bird is actually not a bird. Yeah.
Like for me, like maybe our eyesight is really bad. And then like
holy shit, it's
some
Superman. What the fuck? He's real.
Like okay, maybe like a turkey vulture or something, like caught in an air thermal way high up. If you can't tell that it's like swirling in a circle, you're just like, oh, it's a bird, I think. And
it'd
you're
be
like,
really far away and a really big bird. Yeah. And then you just see, oh, it's actually a man-shaped thing with a cape. It's not either of those things.
My bad. It looks kind of like a plane.
You have to. It only works if you're like outside of like an old folks' home and everyone's eyesight is so horrible. Is that a bird? No, Lucy, I think it's a plane.
No,
it's a flying man.
No, wait, it's 2 boats stuck together with duct tape. I think. No, it's a box of Cheerios. No, it's a road suspended by a flying goblin. No, it's a camera.
What a nice cereal box. I saw you on TV last night. It's the Grim Reaper come to take me at last. The only other triv I have is the train yard hologram is the same that was featured in the Batman the Animated Series episode It's Never Too Late.
Is it?
Which was the train PTSD, I'm a kid and my friend got run over by a train episode.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it the same
It was
footage?
the exact backgrounds and train.
That's
and
why it
everything.
looks so similar.
Yeah, I was waiting if you were going to say something or not, but I was like, no, I mean, even I wouldn't really probably notice that it was that unless I knew. But yeah.
Well, I looked. Okay, so to be fair, already in this episode, I've been like, oh, like with the red skies, like this is just kind of Batman-y. And so it had been in my head. And so when I saw that, I was like, this looks kind of Batman-y. And I thought, nah, it's just me
I thought
being
it was
in a
kind
Batman-y
of fun
state
that
of mind.
like even the background and train were all kind of like sepia tone. Like they weren't like the flashback had been. Like they didn't even bother to like give it colors. They're just like, whatever. Superman is in a flashback universe now or whatever.
It's cool. We're all good.
Yeah. But yeah, I had to double check that because I thought like, people that write trivia for the internet often
Are wrong.
just like, don't get it right. So I went and looked. I'd pulled up the episode, paused it on a shot of the train with the overhang or whatever bridge thing behind it. And then the tunnel, you might call it.
No.
And no, I don't think so. I think it's a goblin taped to a whatever the fuck you said. I paused the other episode on. Yeah, it's like the same architecture, same everything. Which I guess if you're going to just do, a scene using assets that you already have, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Like no one's going to be like, wow, so lazy or what? Why would you design a completely new everything just for that? But as far as I can tell, I don't think we've had like a Old West saloon episode, like maybe it was the Jonah Hex.
I was going to say, is there a possibility that they use the backgrounds at least?
I'll have to look for that. The only trivia that I did leave off of this, because sometimes the places I get the trivia will have a reference in a later episode calls back to this episode. But then when you go to that episode, that's not in the trivia for that one. So like I can't later go like, oh, it's a reference to this one we've already watched. So like the saloon music and the music when the circle of luminuses are shooting lasers at Superman on the rooftop.
That was a bit zany.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Both of those scenes' music will be in later episodes also, which I thought was fun. But I think the saloon music is like stock saloon music.wave or whatever, because it's I don't think it's written by the composers for this. But, yeah. But the reuse of stuff is abundant in this. Specifically that shot of the luminuses in a circle was a little silly, especially because you can tell it's like 4 frames that just loop because they just become each other or whatever.
Yeah.
But the rest of that fight scene was pretty good. There was a handful of like that he would shoot him with the laser and with his laser gun, and then when Superman would hit the ground, there'd be like sparks coming off of him, and like the water had little extra droplets and things like that. It was nice.
Yeah.
Instead of just like, I don't know. I just always assumed that it would look worse if it was not TMS.
I feel like that's a mantra of yours now.
Yeah. On that note, keen effects, I suppose.
Yes. Do you want to start off? Because there's 2 big ones.
I've been talking a lot. You tell me one that you like.
Okay. Well, chronologically, when Leitner is like, "Oh, I'm invisible, gonna walk by the prison guards and steal this helicopter." He's kind of like,
it's the glowing bright thing behind you.
Right? Think, yeah. Where did he go? Just a human-shaped glowing orb sort of thing.
Yeah.
I was really impressed because, like, so it's kind of his shape, but it's got this whole bloom on it or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like it must be the same thing they were doing with Livewire and electricity and stuff.
I guess so. But yeah, he like sits in the helicopter and I'm like, you have some time to like really, or his glowy form sits in the helicopter and you can really kind of take it in. It's not like a quick effect, quick flash or anything. He's just like this glowy kind of shape dude. And
is that a bird?
There's a plane in that helicopter.
There's a sun shaped like a man.
Yeah,
a plane.
But then it kind of it like transitions to his shape. So it's like, were they like? Did they animate him?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you do that? Did they animate him sitting in the helicopter and they like physically cut out like individual frames?
It's something I've wondered about too, because like there's some stuff like. You'll see like a fade to black where the frame has to like freeze before the fade begins because like you can't just change the transparency of the thing or whatever. But I do wonder about that with if they're literally cutting a hole and shining a light through the back of it, how do they do that in varying transparency across different moving frames? Like, I have no idea. It's very impressive to me too. Yeah.
Really, I mean, unless they did like the same thing, maybe there was... No, wait, I don't know.
What?
I thought I had maybe some idea of how they could do it, but now they think about like if it was an overlay where one was solid, like you would do in like digital, whatever.
Yeah,
you know,
that's the thing.
Cut out all of one and had one of, but there'd just be a hard line there where suddenly
maybe
there was,
I don't know. Each animation cell is on a different thickness of paper or something.
Dan!
I have no idea. Yeah, Dan, help us, Dan. Oh, here he is. Oh, it just whatever.
That's Mickey. That's not Dan.
Oh, how goofy. Yeah.
Woody, do you want to talk about a Keen effect?
Oh, I really like the big kaleidoscope rainbow building.
Yeah. That it looked
Don't
kind
know how it
of
did it. Yeah.
It looked kind of almost like Hanna-Barbera. Like it looked a little like 70s when they were doing it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what it was, but we had some previous episode where an effect had been told to us by Dan Reba was like crumpled up tinfoil that they were bouncing light off of, and it's like, they're crumpling it in different ways each frame, so it's kind of flashing and scattering around and whatever.
Right.
And that kind of looked like this, but it was
smoother.
like perfect. Yeah. It was like each little triangle was like the same size as each other, and like it almost did look like a filter you'd put on a kaleidoscope and like twist it and stuff like that. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, almost like it reminded me of like lizard scales or something, or like cracks in like the desert mud that make kind of like hexagony, like geometric sort of things.
And
like
then
that.
again, that's also like moving down the building to reveal it or whatever.
Yeah, that was
like, how did they do it? Dan. Dan.
Yeah,
Dad.
I was impressed. Dad Reba,
pretty much at this point. Yeah, I don't know. Lots of good stuff like that in this. And again, just a handful of different ways that things were animated, like physics-wise, that were cool. Superman like lightly punching Luminous in the face, and when he flies back, hits the thing. The door Looney Tunes Lee falls onto his head. I think I've frame by framed that before, and it's one of those like there is no transition frame between him sitting upright and him being conked. It's just immediately so fast you hit your microphone. But it worked really well. Yeah.
Can we talk about the ketchup?
Oh yeah. What was the first? Oh, it was Superman getting beat up by Luminous on the rooftop, and he wipes his lip and there's blood, and you just went ketchup. And then in the next scene he sets down like a medicine bottle or whatever, and you just went more ketchup.
It's just like a ketchup bottle.
Red. Yeah, it's a red bottle.
And then he wipes his mouth again with the rag, and he goes, "Ugh, ketchup."
Yeah, it's too spicy. I put the ketchup in my mouth. Yeah. I forgot how tasty it is.
Shockingly tasty ketchup.
How do they do those ketchup effects?
Man, I don't know.
I don't know. Even that stuff though, even the blood on his lips was like
ketchup?
Very detailed, tiny thing. Yeah, it was the ketchup. Sorry. Yeah, just something that I feel like other animation companies wouldn't really put much time into or like care about as much. Yeah, as much ketchup into. Superman's powers in this episode.
Not much.
No, is this how if he had any new powers or weaknesses? I don't think so. We have incubation heat lamp, which is red sunlight already. And yeah, I mean, he didn't do anything new either, other than have ketchup come out his mouth. He can secrete a condom onto his body, and he can spit ketchup.
He can secrete condoms or condiments.
You know, I'm actually going to add that condom. See, CONDOMENT. Condiment. Breath. Secretion. No, not breath. Condiment. Oh, it auto-corrected it. No. I meant condiment, you idiot. Secretion.
Yeah.
To form a condom over his body, double dose, or to spit Ketchup, which was what the fuck was this episode called?
Solar power.
Solar power. I kept thinking Target 2, electric ketchup.
No.
Yeah. All right. How strong Superman 1 through 10?
1.
Yeah, he was real weak.
Yeah.
But not his fault, but still. I'll give him, yeah.
Do you need a second? Because I got one.
Okay, go for it, yeah.
I'm giving Superman 1 lonely passenger on a monorail because obviously it's not the main mode of transportation that anybody should be using out of 10.
Yeah, well, they showed the bridge, and you're like, oh, okay, she's in her car, and then they just pan up to this hanging, dangling monorail.
To a monorail,
yeah.
And then it goes inside the monorail car, and it's just
and
Lois.
She's the only one in there. Yeah. Not even a driver of the, because he didn't save anyone else in the thing.
Nope.
It was just her. She just pushes the button.
There are light rails, which are like unmanned trains. You know, and it's usually like a small...
Like luminous?
Oh my god, like a laser! Dan!
That don't require a pilot or whatever, is that what you're going to say?
Yeah.
Captain, whatever the fuck.
It's really cool. I rode one fairly regularly in London, and it's really cool when you get like the front seats, because then you're like, I'm the conductor. You just turn around and start talking all American to everybody on the DLR.
I'm the conductor, you say.
I'm driving you all here. You notice that I'm not driving on the wrong side of the road because I'm American and everything is right.
If you look to your right, you'll see what appears to be either a bird or a plane. I'm not quite sure.
Or perhaps a box of Cheerios.
Perhaps a cereal box. I'll give Superman 1.4 birds.
Thank you.
Where's Clayface? Was there Clayface? Was he the Rock Superman?
Oh, he was the Rock that Superman was like trying to punch dance out his rage.
Yeah. He was the ketchup.
It's so funny that like, so Clark, okay, the whole, again, lifting his he drops his pencil, and he's like, oh, gotta get my pencil. So he like looks around all darty like and picks up his desk with one hand to pick up his pencil. And is just like, ow, my shoulder, that hurt, picking up my giant desk with one hand. It's like, okay, like he knows he's getting weaker. He's been told he's getting weaker. He understands that he's getting weaker. And still he goes out to like beat up a rock in the desert. And is like, why am I'm weaker suddenly? I don't get this. I can barely pick up this boulder.
You even mentioned that his heat vision was slower. Like, it kind of like leaks out of his eyes a little bit. Yeah.
Just kind of, and it like sags, a little droopy. Some of the heat drips off of it.
Yeah. I always wanted to do like the Spaceballs lightsabers where they like flaccid for a second. Heat vision.
Can you After Effects that one, Jamie?
Flaccid heat vision.
Just you see it come out real slow.
Is that the subtitle of the episode?
What?
Flaccid heat vision.
I hope so.
Yeah, Clayface was the Rock, I guess. Books, hip hop, books.
Books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking books as well.
Yeah.
Let's try that again.
He's bald, I'm bald, we're all bald. But who's the baddest bald of all? It's James and Brian's final call. The Balderarchy.
Love it.
Antagonists are luminous. Lex Luthor was in the episode, but he wasn't a bad... Well, he was just kind of snarky. I don't know.
I have a kind of caveat here.
Okay.
So we have Leitner. He's got a great head of hair.
He does.
Right? So that's kind of problematic.
The hologram versions of
However,
him technically don't have hair.
Him in his suit, his hair is all... He's very slick-topped, kind of.
Yeah,
like,
he's
if
got
you
like
know
a
better,
scuba suit. Yeah.
He could be kind of baldy. But then the holograms, are just... It's just light, no hair there. They also, like, there's not even the projective hair. So, like, Leitner
They were
holograms?
antagonistic because they, like, especially Big Cowboy and Pirate fucking him up a little bit.
What did he cut a hole in with the sword?
I don't know. Okay. I've wondered that for a long time. Because on some level, like, so when the train is coming, you were like, all of this is in that building or whatever.
Yeah.
And, yeah, well, so, yeah, like Star Trek holodeck logic is like... kind of like the. Have you seen those videos of like the moving floor when you're wearing the headset? So like where it's like that, where like you're not actually walking through the space is just moving around you, so it can be infinite directions, even though the room is a set size. So I've thought that with maybe the train isn't actually like more than a image until it's near him or something like that. But then, it just like into a pirate ship. It's now a pirate ship place. And he backs up his elbow into the edge of it and goes, here's the way out, and cuts a fucking perfect circle out of the wall. He's so good.
Nobody has more perfect lead a circle ever.
Yeah.
And he's just like freehand, just like
It's
sword,
beautiful. Yeah.
circle.
Yeah. There's a moment in.
Perfect.
Have you seen Big Hero 6, the Pixar movie? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's the big like marshmallow looking robot guy. Anyway, it's a Marvel property that they did a Pixar movie. It's a good movie.
Okay.
There's a moment where all the side characters kind of like develop gadgets to also be superheroes, and one of the guys has like hologram knife things that come out of the back of his wrists, and they get all like, we're badass, we're gonna go defeat the bad guy, and they go to his lair, and you just see inside the door, and he's like starting to cut a circle. He gets almost all the way there, but then just goes like off to the side, and then you just see a couple other attempts to like like to finish the shape, and he finally gets it, and it's a really good little beat. But yeah, Superman just like, you can see him like struggling, and he's somehow just like working off a protractor, like goes perfectly around to the top. I don't know, it was very strange.
What you don't see is that he's got his elbow perfectly in the center, and he uses
right,
as a compass.
He didn't move at all. Yeah, I'm so weak, but I can still do geometry. I was an ace. He did get good grades in school. We saw that.
Come on, Clark, you've been training your whole life for this. Gotta make the perfect circle with the sword.
Lana Lang kept getting D- and shit. You gotta prove that you're still better. Yeah, I agree though that it's weird that when he cuts the hole in it, my thought always goes to like, did he just cut a hole in like reality? Where is he going? Where is he physically going?
It's kind of almost cloth looking.
Yeah. So I guess it just turns out that when he walked into the room, into the building in the first place, he walked into a big flesh tent that was filled with holograms. And
flesh tent.
It's made of
flesh tent. Holograms would also be a really good subtitle.
Okay, yeah, there we go. I do like that better than putting the word flaccid in the title. I already put Budweiser. I'm pushing. But yeah, then it's just projecting everything, I guess, until he just goes like, I'm tired of this. But when he walks out, it looks like he's walking into like a digital void or something.
Yeah.
So I've always just been so like, what is happening? And then he's just in a different room now.
He might be dreaming. This whole episode might be a dream.
Yeah. What if I lost my powers and who's someone I could like beat easily in the dream? Edward Leitner. I'll just make him come back. He can call himself like Luminous or some stupid shit.
Whoa, wait a minute. This is really starting to make too much sense, though.
When he dropped his pen, he accidentally conked his head on the desk when he leaned down to get it, and he wakes back up. Clark's been drooling on his desk for a while.
Just a little bit of ketchup on his forehead.
Yeah, he left his McDonald's on the counter also that he just smashed his brain.
Yeah, just like his head into the ketchup packet and worked its way into the dream.
I like how of all the episodes, he didn't dream Mr. McYespelik, but he dreamed turning the whole building into animals and stuff. But he's like, yeah.
Wow. Oh, I like this.
Who did we decide wins the Balderarchy? I guess it's Luminous's holograms. Yeah. Because, I wouldn't say Lex Luthor was an antagonist in this episode. He was just there.
No, he's just an archer.
Top 10. No. It was a good-looking episode, but it doesn't beat any of.
I got my Beverly Hills Chihuahua up on Wikipedia here.
Sorry, you better close out of that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, probably not. I mean, I liked this episode. I legitimately liked this episode. It was just, but I think that's kind of the shortcoming of it. Is like it's just a solid episode. Doesn't really stand out in one way.
I wouldn't put it on the bottom either, for sure.
Oh no,
we
no,
had
no.
Target
Far
on the bottom,
from it.
but this is
Yeah.
It's had more stuff going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to go do mail? And then I'll tell you what the name of the next episode is, and you try to guess what it's about and what show it is.
Jamie, I got a W-2 over there. I don't really want to do mail right now. Because if I open that letter, there's a whole lot of other stuff going on, and I just not ready for taxes. Are you?
I am pretty ready for taxes, actually.
Oh, well, fine.
I keep track of everything. Yeah.
That yacht.
Well, fine.
And one small extra yacht, put it over.
We do our taxes.
What we drop?
Our weekly yacht.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, those.
Into the comment box.
Man!
There sure was a lot.
Now Jamie's mad.
Too bad we're wrong.
At least I am.
Just Dylan Paula.
If you want to reach out to us like the fire hand at the end of the Cat in the Claw Part 2, you can send a punctuated email or a 60-second voice message to batwagonpod@gmail.com or leave a comment on today's episode on the Podtower YouTube channel. But please do not spoil anything past this episode for Brian.
Wow.
I'm really talented. This is comments and emails from last episode, 108 Double Dose, or Cheetos and Budweiser. Not to be confused with Budweiser. We have a damage report from Euphonium Star.
Oh,
Danny's Walkman. Seriously, though, you'd think this prison would have metal detectors or something.
Right.
Livewire's cell door handle, prison overhead lights, conference room speakers, conference room seats, conference room building wall.
Yep.
Road, fire hydrant, jumbotron screens.
Remember that
shipwreck mast.
Yeah.
Underwater grate, power plant door, wooden crate. Liquid nitrogen tank, Superman's body condom, pipe from power generator, another power plant door, janitor's cart, water cooler bottle, mop, water damage from sprinklers, janitor's closet door.
There it is. I was
Very
waiting
good.
for that one.
Did we have boat? He put a hole in the boat.
Great.
You didn't put that. So,
oh my God.
Fiacre, thank you for the damage report as usual. Fiacre Horgan says, solar power, me. Hey, Mom, can we watch the really good Invisible Man episode of BTAS? Mom, we have an Invisible Man episode at home. The Invisible Man episode at home. Hey, this one wasn't bad. Yeah, but I get it. This is from Evil Banana Baby.
Ooh.
Oog, oog, hag, hag. Translation, leave my family alone, you crazy landlord.
Right.
And Banana Baby says, goo goo gaga. Translation, my parents are not here yet, could pay the rent? What is happening? Is everything okay? I don't think so. Banana Landlord, it's all backwards. It says, Banana Man has paid the rent. This is okay. So I guess that means he's back on the other side of the banana hole or whatever we were calling it.
Okay.
Which is great. Great news. I'm just so sick of him asking for the rent. He's got it now, I guess. Death by Slimes says, remind me 2 years. Like a little thing for YouTube to remind them for 2 years from now. It's for when they can comment in 2026, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, You get it? You got it?
I got it.
Dylan Pollock, solar power. From a guy, a couple candles short of a menorah to two bright guys.
It's time for the thoughts of the week from Dylan Pollock on solar power or Superman's Red Dead Redemption. I wish we could have gotten a mild explanation of how Leitner built that device in prison, but I also can't help thinking of Iron Man. Edward Leitner built this in a cell. Box of scraps. Yeah. That's enough of that. How did Leitner go with the name Luminous? Did he workshop it, you think? Why not N. Leitner or Spectrum or Visionary? Also, why are reporters Lois and Clark having photographer Jimmy do the typing and research? Doesn't that seem a little stupid? And boy, does it feel like watching the Warriors blow a 3-1 lead, or the Falcons being up 28-3 in the Super Bowl, or the Red Sox losing with the ball going through Bill Buckner's legs. Yeah. This is that big a villain fuck-up because he has him powerless and decides to take Superman to a Wild West saloon and a pirate ship, grow up Luminous, and shoot him. Shoot him in his face, and this would have been over. Anyway, time for the question of the week. James' favorite part. Since tomatoes are a fruit, should ketchup be considered a smoothie?
Yes.
How did he know the ketchup thing?
It's
the fuck is
Dylan
wrong
is
with you?
a magician, and you just need to learn to accept that, Jamie.
I did think that you were maybe going to think that all the pirate Wild West stuff was like an unfortunate turn for the episode, but it wasn't too out of left field, I guess. Like,
no, it was
weird,
more right field, I guess.
Fine.
I do think
right
that there was a couple of those instances in this episode. Like, the whole thing could have been So I just got very distracted by that train horn, like way off in the distance. I was like, train sounds. Brain stops when I hear train sounds.
Am I in a hologram place?
Yeah.
Is there a train?
Where's the train?
Oh
Batman! Dan!
Help me. It's small boy in the past. Help me.
Just with the prison guards, and Leitner's like, hey, well, guess what? Like, he starts to disappear, and guy's like, no, I have a shotgun in my hands. I'm just going to
shoot him.
End of episode.
Well, even when he just lifts his shirt and a mysterious device is revealed. Shoot him.
This is America. That's how we handle things around here.
Come on, man.
It just could have, it could have been one of those, like, we'd get the Jack Ryder report and be like, Leitner tried to he had an elaborate prison break and the authorities shot him. The end.
He tried to escape and didn't. Because it was very easy to shoot him. Well, and I don't know how he built that stuff in prison, or he had the plans for it before he went to prison and then acted on them. I don't know.
Excuse me, prison guard. I know you want to take like all of my items before I get locked up, but can I have this elaborate pamphlet just for no reason, really?
Can I have this small, belt buckle device that turns me invisible? Could I bring that in with me?
Is that okay?
Sorry, no electronic device. Can't come over here. This is from Brad. Please help me, Jimbo and Bimbo. So something happened to me the other day. I was getting ready to take a bubble bath, and when I entered the tub, I accidentally sat on my balls and passed out from the pain. When I awoke, my head was completely... This was happened to Superman. He dreamed this whole episode because he sat on his balls. When I awoke, my head was completely submerged, and all I am left with is a fear of punctuation and the vague memory of having an arch nemesis with some kind of connection to your podcast. So if you guys could help me remember who it is, that'd be swell. With any luck, my sworn enemy will send in a voicemail on this very episode that will send me down a path of performative supervillainy for the foreseeable future. God bless you boys, and remember to always keep your balls taped to your leg when you sit down.
God, isn't that the truth, though?
You know, I do think I know who you're talking about, but for your sake and the sake of them, I'm not going to... It's Dylan Pollock, actually.
What?
Cam Lightfoot says, yop it before you zop it, double dose.
Okay.
Hey there, Jorts and Bryangle.
Hey.
I loved the moment in the episode when Livewire says she just keeps going and going. Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about that at all. The Energizer Bunny reference she makes when she... I just keep going and go... And we both kind of like at that and then didn't mention it at all. But then I realized that that's one of those things that is also just completely lost on today's viewer.
Yeah, I don't think people... There's things that existed in the 90s that were like big, popular, obvious, everybody knows, and there's things that have just kind of fallen by the wayside now. And I think that's one of them.
I mean, there were so many cassette tapes in this and Double Dose, and then we didn't mention the Energizer Bunny battery commercials, but whatever. Yeah, references to the 90s Energizer Bunny commercials probably went over kids' heads back in the day, but it's a fun joke for us now. Oh, okay. So they have the reverse opinion. I also love Parasite sucking the power of fish to be able to breathe underwater and swim real good. Just wanted to say I started listening to the pod. Are sharks fish?
Yes.
You should know this old knowing man.
I should.
Are birds planes?
Fish. Sharks. Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, they have gills.
I would have
of course.
guessed. Well, okay. But I would have guessed there was some sort of like different thing. Anyway, just wanted to say I started listening to the pod when you guys first got to STAS as I was doing my own first watch through, and I've decided to experience this show in the far gone 1900s manner as well.
Nice.
Keep on yapping, boys. Big ol' whoosh, I just flew away. Cam. I don't know if you can steal that, but it might be copyrighted. But thank you, Cam. Eric LeBeau, solar power, or only James is going to get the joke I make with this reference. All right,
Sweet.
Let's have it.
All right, so this week's episode is solar power, or...
Luminous.
I'm just gonna call him Lou. Well, it's better than Lou's last episode. For one, Lois actually remembers to scream when she falls this time. Though I think one big flaw in this episode is that if Lou was so confident he could kill Superman by the time he was about to go out and take out all those satellites, why didn't he just sneak up behind him and...
Hang him!
Or...
Shoot him!
Or preferably...
Hit him with a
wrong.
I can't believe that the bouncing ball from Fun and Games came back this late. I thought it came back sooner. Side tangent, I still don't understand how those gags like you see in this episode where Lois and Jimmy clearly have their lips over the gag, but they still can't talk. Like, wouldn't it sound less like and more like Superman, get the fuck out of here? That's really all my thoughts for this episode, aside from the fact that I enjoy Lou's very Kirby-esque design. Until next time, keep calm and yop on.
Also, everyone, please become a patron to the Watchtower database so we can figure out if Teen Titans and the Batman exist in the same universe.
Nice.
How? What? Huh?
Also, everyone, please become a patron to the Watchtower database so we can figure out if Teen Titans and the Batman exist in the same universe.
Oh, he says to become a patron of the Watchtower database, which you can do by going to patreon.com/DCAU Watchtower, because we're trying to get to 200 patrons. And when we do, we're going to do a video that you've been asking us to do for a very long time. Brian.
Do that.
Which is by reality.
Yeah. You know what we didn't talk about was the, just funny quick aside, was the Superman in the sky / the Sheraton Hotel logo projected in the sky.
I didn't quite know what you meant by that.
Just look up Sheraton logo.
Sheraton.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah. It had it's an S with some squigglies on the outside. Yeah. I see it. I thought at first you had said Sherry's logo, like the restaurant.
No, we don't. We don't talk
at.
about that.
Yeah, the super signal. We didn't mention that.
That was really
Commissioner
funny,
Gordon, what do you need?
Yeah.
This is from LexCorp Cares. Howdy, Yoppie friends. Hope you're doing well. Just sharing some super fun corporate updates sent with a smile from a prototype Metalla friend.
Blake, Johannesburg. I'm just calling with a little bit of, good things that LexCorp's putting out in the world. We are taking half of our weapons testing facilities, and, we're trying to modernize in the year of 19. And we're taking half of our weapons testing facilities, and we are turning them into a massive solar farm. The plan is to power about half of Metropolis with free energy for low-income folks and housing. It's not even like an evil one this time. We're not even using it as like a deadly sun laser, just like a normal solar farm. Crazy, right?
That's cool.
But we're gonna get that started hopefully by the end of the year. Wait, what? It's what? The sun. Like the whole sun. Effort? It's okay. Have we gotten rid of the weapon? No? Okay, we still have the weapon? Yeah, get those back in. Okay, so anyways, this change of plans. Just ignore that, guys. Back to business over here at LexCorp. Hope y'all have a good one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Using LexCorp stuff to do bad things? I don't know about that. This is an important public announcement from Metropolis Mayor Franklin Berkowitz.
Oh.
Dear Metropolitans, as you might have noticed if you don't work the night shift, the sky is fucking red now. And I mean red in broad daylight, not like that weird night sky in Gotham. Anyway, do not panic, my friends. The government will surely shoot those satellites down in no time. So until then, try to not have melatonin swings or anxiety. Explosions. Oh God, what the hell is going on? Okay, those were only isolated explosions. Calm down. In and out. Mike, call those damage report fellas. Mike, where the fuck are you? What's that, Chad? Mike thought the red skies meant the end of the world, so he traveled to live his last hours looking at the Arizona prairies? Fire him. Hey, look, the sky is blue again. Cool. Wait, isn't the sky blue because the atmosphere blocks out red and green wavelengths or something? Shouldn't blocking blue as well just make it black or a very dark red instead of the blood red we saw? Let me call Professor Hamilton. Hey, Emil, was the sky supposed to turn red? What? Bastard just told me to shut up and hung up on me. Man, I do hate that guy. Well, Chad, did you hear Superman is giving out free kisses?
Sign me up.
You can head over to the Flesh Tent and get your free kisses. We'll have a kissing booth at the live event. We will not have that at all.
Yeah, we will.
This is from Scotty Cameron. Hey, Yoppie dudes, are you ready to see an alternate reality where Superman's rocket lands in the Soviet Union? Wait, hold on. This episode involves a red sun, not red sun. Okay, that makes sense. Also, I thought Lex fired Leitner, and that was his whole vendetta against Lois because he lost his job at LexCorp, so why is Lex sending him tech to work on in prison? I guess that's a good point.
That is a really good point.
Was Target so forgettable that the showrunners forgot everything about Luminous outside the fact he knows about red sun radiation, likes games, and hates Lois Lane? Overall, this episode was just as forgettable as the first Luminous episode. I would like to correct something Jamie said in response to Ryan Hipp's voice message and the use of Flight by Hans Zimmer. Jamie referred to that as the Man of Steel soundtrack, and that's the Man of Steel score. I know this is an honest mistake. The score is the instrumental music that people like Hans Zimmer, John Williams, blah, 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 composed for a film, while the soundtrack is all the imported music from famous musical acts like Linkin Park, Eminem, Papa Roach. Interesting choices.
Creed.
Take the film Daredevil, for example. The score was composed by Graeme Revell, while the... why is it spelled with like that?
Because the 90s.
Okay. Well, the soundtrack is all the Evanescence, Nickelback, etc. That's why they're typically separate albums. If you pick up the Spider-Man soundtrack hoping to hear Danny Elfman's music, only to hear music from Chad Kroeger of Nickelback, that's because you picked up the wrong album. Now you know, knowing is half the battle. Stay Yoppie Scotty. I disagree. I will say, I think this is a squares and rectangles situation.
Okay.
Where... So technically the soundtrack is all sound in the movie. Like anything that is on the soundtrack is the soundtrack. When you buy an album of the music that was composed for the movie, it will still say like the original motion picture soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to specify that it's the score. If you have an album that's like music from and inspired by the motion picture, that'll be the one with all the Nickelback and stuff on it. I would say that a score is within a soundtrack, but not the other way around.
You know, I'm actually on the Scotty side in this one. With the direct example I have, because I always go back to this apparently. The Crow had the soundtrack with like all the amazing artists that you would know and love, like, I don't know, 9 Inch Nails and Stone Temple Pilots and all those guys. And they released an additional disc called The Score, which was all the orchestral compositions and stuff like that for it. I don't know about the definition of it or whatever, but I feel like I've seen soundtrack as musical artists imported and the score being what the composer did. I could look up online, but I'm not gonna. It's
probably interchangeable in the sake of like, if you see it in the store and it says soundtrack, look at the tracks and see what you're about to buy. You know what you're getting into. I think it's probably a case by case, but I would say like most releases like that don't say like score on them. Whereas I do agree that the score is the score, but the soundtrack is not what you're necessarily describing. Anyway, it doesn't fucking matter. Lanola Cola, tug on the super cape. Time for an illuminating discussion for solar power, aka all of this could have been avoided if the guard had shot Lightner. Simp Man v Superman, Dawn of the Red Sun. Superman almost got It's Never Too Lated. Luminous and Weather Wizard would have been friends. This episode transported me back to 2023 when the Canadian wildfire clouds affected New York. This episode had to have inspired the heretic leader boss battle in Halo 2. This episode is another mixed bag for me, but I'm leaning towards not liking it. Superman's water hydrant strat from the previous episode actually worked against Lightner, and Lightner not saying something like, "How about a Lightner?" when Jimmy asked about finding a light switch. Lightner's reliance on the holograms toward the last battle made him feel too gimmicky, and he didn't have a red sun generator in his suit to be extra sure he could kill Superman after his building blew up. Superman's depowering from the artificial red sun felt inconsistent. It seems like he's feeling pain, like he's almost exposed to green kryptonite, but he didn't feel weak when depowered in the main man. His first instinct was to punch out his enclosure, so he didn't immediately sense something was out of the ordinary for him. Maybe it's different amounts or something. Like a light bulb in the ceiling versus the entire sun, you know?
Maybe it was like an amount of things getting through.
Yeah. Or also he, sitting there at his desk for hours in the red sun before he tried to pick up his desk and went, "Hang on, my shoulder. What's going on?" And then he starts Okay. Lastly, no ejected shells from the guards' guns, and a third instance of laser weapons in the DCAU. I'll get back to you faster than Superman regaining his powers till we up again. P.S. Was the focus on Lois jerking the knob of the door to the invisible building that essential? We also did say, you're like, "Hang on." She's like trying it, and I said, like, "That's my penis, Lois." Or whatever. Like, he's just standing there. Yeah, who knows? This is from Jack Cards, who I believe is a new one.
Oh,
behold
welcome.
some low. Oh, sorry, you get that. Behold some low effort fan content, and it's a screenshot of Peter Griffin lying dead on the floor, but he's colored yellow like a banana person. It says POV, you didn't pay rent. Thank you very much.
Oh God, dire times.
Yeah, Kevin Tran, solar power. Hey guys, thanks for the awesome birthday wishes. I'm writing this email as I'm listening to the pod and realized I actually turned double dose. But as I turned into last week's episode, Lightner actually turned into light. Hope y'all have a great week. Kevin Tran. Thank you.
I know it's kind of low ball, but all the same, here it is.
Ryan Hip, I'm serious, and don't call me solar power.
Okay.
I don't even know what I'm doing anymore, it says.
It's everybody's favorite solar power, and it's all part of the Kids WB Incel Jamboree. I'm a creep, you're a creep. We're all creeps here on Kids WB. Lightner is back with a supervillain moniker that's not a play on his last name. Just call yourself the Lightener, you fucking gimp. And then there's Superman, who, much like Simple Plan, is still not getting any. It all culminates with our incel brothers in arms tangled in a game of fisticuffs. Brother killing brother for the profit of another. Lois Lane's voice comes out of that one reporter at the end.
That E is going on too long.
Still in the building! Here's your requisite frickin' laser beams reference. Remember that?
Awesome powers.
Play along at home. This week it was Shadow of the Bat Parts 1 and 2 and Speed Demons, just like the far gone days of before I lost everything in the divorce. Come back, Brad! I can change, baby! I can change! Tune in next time for the Kids WB Nudist Colony Hootenanny and Black Social. Bye-bye!
My God, Ryan.
I don't know what you're doing anymore either, but it just keeps getting more.
I like it.
I do too. Tip Tapricot says contemplations on solar power.
Alrighty, here's some contemplations on solar power. First, I would like to commend the listener Hivemind for zeroing in on the condom suit detail last week. It was really funny to hear that brought up like 20 times. Onto the episode, I actually really liked this use of a villain return, as it feels less like have to mandate the use of this guy again, and more like a natural progression and in-world continuity change. We see new stuff from Lightner that's scary, but in character to the tech we've seen him use. He gets a villain moniker, he has a reason to go after Superman that's directly tied to and plays off of previous events with him, like using Lois as bait, etc. And just, it felt like a really good handling of the plot, especially after several similar returns that, while not bad, were very much like, oh, they're here again. I also think that exploring depowered Superman was done very well, seeing him slowly get weaker and eventually deal with seeing his own blood. A character detail I think you could expand on a lot with, like, has he ever bled before? Did he bleed as a child before his powers developed, etc. Anyway, I hope Jack Ryder enjoys the visit to the great metro city this week, as I'm sure this guy will be making him feel right at home. Till next week.
You know, we don't have one from Jack Ryder. Yeah, that's a good question. Whether he like bled as a kid, like he knows what his blood looks like. What if he just like bled in this episode and it's just like that bright green predator blood or something? And he's like, holy shit, I had no idea. Yeah, who knows? Not me. Dan.
Is he like, I mean, he's not human. There's no saying that he's got like organs
red
and
blood
and stuff.
He has yellow blood. That's
yeah,
why
why
he needs the
not?
yellow sun. Yeah.
Mustard.
That could have been a way they could have gotten away with more of it, I guess. Like there's like we saw Lobo rip a fucking snake's like skin off, you know, and it's like, oh, it's not a person, so it's fine or whatever.
Right.
Last verse, we have Mark Aquino, solar power, or what if Tony Stark was an incel? Phone rings. Hey, Bizarro Mark, get that for me, will you? Goodbye, me not the homeowner. What? Me didn't know we didn't pay solar bill? Oh, for the love of, what's that? If we no pay solar bill, you block sun and kill Superman? But then he no fly around and give kisses no more. Give me that. Talks into phone. Put us on your do not call list, please. Hangs up, puts phone down. Bizarro Mark, you still need to learn about telemarketers. Look, I came up with this sketch because there's really not much I can say about this episode, but it wasn't a bad episode. It wasn't good either. It was just pretty weak, or in the story's case, Superman under a red sun weak. Anywho, Edward Lightner came back, now calling himself Luminous, and he's dressing like he's the reboot of Tron guy. Anyone else remember Tron, guys? Some of you might be too young to remember. He was a viral meme in the early days of YouTube, and good God, I can now feel myself getting as old as Brian. Let's look up Tron guy together. Oh, it's that guy. I know this guy. His name is Jay Maynard, American computer programmer. You'll remember him from the South Park episode that also had Chocolate Rain guy and
I've
what in
never
the butt guy.
seen this guy.
Oh, well, I can feel myself getting as old as Brian.
There was a bit with Luminous's invisible hideout turning into all these illusions, a western saloon, a train track, so much for being more powerful than a locomotive, and a pirate ship. I'm sure I won't be the first one to point this out, but this reminded me a lot of the MCU version of Mysterio in Spider-Man Far From Home, the way he uses holograms and illusions to trick people. Come to think of it, he had big incel vibes as well. Coincidence? Yeah, probably. Boss Biggest Bear Hugs, the number one podcast host in this year multiverse of ours, Jeff Foxworthy and Bill Dratt.
Oh, God.
Why do I have to be Jeff Foxworthy?
There's no saying you are.
That's true. I can be Bill Dratt. Praise our Lord and Savior Dylan Pollock. Keep up the great work on your own podcast. Remember to tell Gab that she rules. Likewise to all his loyal disciples, all the people's names. You are all the absolute best. Don't you ever forget that. In regards to my comment on last week's podcast, I didn't use Jammed Printer and Bobcat Goldthwait beforehand. I've been using the Notes app on my phone to write my weekly comment for as long as I've been doing this, and I can go back and read each one that I wrote. I can confirm there have never been any repeats, so there we have it. Looks like I have to be the one in this relationship to say, it's me, not you. And it actually is you. Guess that means I sleep on the couch for a while. Oh boy, me already sleep on couch. We can have sleepover. This just keeps getting better and better. Anywho, till next week, big old whoosh. I just flew away.
I could have sworn somebody else doing
Bobcat
the name
Goldthwait,
thing.
yeah, I
I'm
think
like,
so.
that sounds too familiar.
Yeah.
But also props for taking notes. I'm very proud of you.
We have to just believe you, I guess, because we have no way to prove it. I'm not going to go back through and listen to everything.
Oh, God. Yeah.
The next episode, Brian.
Yes, sir.
First, I'm going to tell you the name of it. You guess whether it's a Batman episode or a Superman episode.
It's a Batman episode.
It's called Brave New Metropolis.
It's a Batman episode where he's in Metropolis.
No. Bat New Metropolis? What do you think Brave New Metropolis is about? What is this like a play on? You know,
Brave New World?
Yeah. So
which
that doesn't help you at all necessarily.
I'm failing to place what that's from. I know I've heard it, but like
I'm pretty sure it originates from some sort of theatrical production or book.
Probably
book. It's a novel. It's a book. Dystopian novel by English author Aldous Huxley.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and say that sounds like it's Lex territory. So Lex do a big bad gonna reshape Metropolis to look like Gotham so Batman can show up.
Oh, you just want more Batman. Please be Batman in Metropolis. I didn't say that. It's Lex Luthor does a big bad and makes Metropolis look like Gotham. That's your thing?
Yeah.
Okay. That's also not terribly far off.
Yeah.
You're getting like C's on these guesses lately, and that's better than
passing
us.
grade.
So, yeah,
that's all I need.
Exactly.
My GPA is 2.
Yeah, that's good enough. That's the end of the podcast. We get to go away now.
Okay. I'm going to go to work, and you're going to...
Oh, man.
Go to work on the movie?
Yeah, I've been working on it. I've actually had it sifting through the upscaling shit, like in the background of doing anything. So, it's cool. You know, Joe and I have that argument about like DVD versus Blu-ray going on, where he like can't even see the difference if he's watching a DVD movie or a Blu-ray movie, and it bothers me. I sent a screenshot of side by side of one of the shots that I had like cleaned up and stuff, and it's just this very like pixely, you know, gross kind of looking screenshot of Joe's face, and then side by side with this like beautiful, pristine, detailed thing now. And I said, sorry for the jump scare. This is an example of the enhancement I'm applying to every shot of Vireality and why it's worth doing. Joe, this is what I mean when I say DVD versus Blu-ray, eat my ass. And then he said, is this one of those things where you find what's different between the pictures? And then I just replied with this gif of a guy going, are you freaking blind? And he just laughed, reacted to it, and that was the entire thing. But
you're going to have to send me that. I want to see.
It looks so nice, though. Yeah, I'll forward it. I'll send it to you on Facebook Messenger so that you can take 3 months to see it.
Hell yeah. I look forward to that in
January 2027. Set a reminder to look at Messenger. Yeah. Okay, bye everybody.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you on March 9th. Well, I will. Jamie will be dead.
I'll be dead by then. Yeah. Oh God, let's not say that. Let's leave.
Okay.
Superman, how do you feel? To disable the satellite. Come here, big guy. Hey, give us a
What
smile.
happened to the plane?
Get those lights out of my eyes.
You heard him. Put him somewhere nice and dark.
Jump on the Bat-Wagon is hosted by the Watchtower Database. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for DC Animated Universe videos on a regular basis. This podcast is edited and produced by yours truly, James Strecker. Musical themes by Kimmy, Cooney Phoenix, Viltsu, Eric LeBeau, Jordan Blumen, my mother, and of course, my smooth co-host, Brian, brother Broderick Meneely. To buy us a Yoppie beverage and hear your name read in a future episode, or to nab yourself a Yoppie Dude t-shirt, please visit the links in today's show notes. Thank you for supporting the show. You can hear more on today's DCAU episode by checking out our friends over on the DCAU Review and Tim Talk podcasts. Please leave us a 5-star review on your app of choice. You'll damn well hear it read on the show. If you'd like to reach out to us like the fire hand at the end of The Cat and the Claw Part 2, you can email batwagonpod@gmail.com or leave a comment on the Podtower. New episodes of Jump on the Bat-Wagon are released Fridays on all your favorite podcast feeds and watchtowerdatabase.com. And we'll see you next episode, same PP time, same poo-poo channel.